thank you so much for joining me on another episode spotlighting businesses in Northeast Florida on what they love about their business and their community and their amazing story. So I'm super excited to have my guest Chelsea with us today. Chelsea, thank you so much for taking the time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Macy. I appreciate it. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, well, I just kind of I'm really excited to connect with more businesses as I've grown the podcast from, just like Flagler, and now I'm reaching all the way up to Jacksonville. So I'm super excited. I feel like I'm just going to learn so much more about Florida and all the amazing people and things to do around town. So why don't I just let you take it away and you can kind of share a little bit about your story and like what brought you down here to Jacksonville or maybe up.
Yeah, absolutely. Up for me. I grew up in the Tampa area, so I came up here for school in 2010, graduated from the University of North Florida in 2015, and actually was in events and catering right out of college. And yeah, I love it here. So I've been kind of riding the wave of business, and then in COVID got laid off after during 2020 and decided that catering wasn't really a good fit for me anymore. So then
Mhm.
that's when I decided to kind of branch out and see what else was out there for me.
Yeah. Well, it's so fun to hear about like a lot of the Floridians who did the coast shift because I feel like people don't really realize it, like if you're not from Florida, but I do think the different coasts, they are different, right? Like Tampa feels like a completely different state than
Very,
Jacksonville.
very much so. Yeah, people say South Florida is a different state than North Florida, and I totally agree. Down south, you don't really get seasons. Up here, at least you get a little bit of winter, you get a little bit of cooler weather, which is it's so nice. And plus, Jacksonville has so many different areas that you could go to the beach and Riverside and downtown. It's just, I love it here.
Yeah. I actually saw like an Instagram reel, like literally on that of being like when you exit South Florida and go into like a completely different state. And it was just like a joke on how different like the neighborhoods are, for example, or something
Yeah.
like that. Like the architecture is different too. And
Yeah.
it's really funny to see. So I would love for you to share a little bit on that shift from going from catering to what you're doing now. And how was that for you?
So in the moment, it wasn't great, but we got to ride the wave of what happens, and take it to our advantage. After years of personal growth and development, you realize that nothing happens to you, it happens for you. You have to learn from the shifts and kind of just go with the flow. And I actually had always organized for friends and family. And then during that COVID time, like shows like The Home Edit and Marie Kondo came out. And I was like, oh, I could do this as a job. That sounds awesome. So I started working for another company, instantly fell in love and became super fulfilled by being able to help people in this way. And yeah, then decided to start my own company once I realized how much they were getting paid per hour. I was like, I could do that. I could do that. So
That's so
and
great.
yeah, so I created my LLC 2 years ago, and it's me, myself, and I right now, but I'm doing great. So I'm excited.
That's amazing to hear. It's always so great when we have things that we're passionate about anyway, and we would totally do for free, but it's such a bonus to get paid for it, especially like
Oh
you feel compensated too.
yeah.
Because it's definitely a difference between like being paid and feeling like you're compensated, I feel.
Yeah.
Especially for something as exhausting, oh, to me, maybe it's not as much to you, as organizing as
Yeah.
as taking the time to put everything in the place that it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And it certainly is a physical labor, the job that I do. You're lifting and bending and moving stuff around all day, but it certainly is, no matter how hard and dirty the job is, I feel fulfilled at the end of the day and just super blessed to be able to help people in that way. So
That's
I feel very
amazing.
happy. Thank
Well, I
you.
feel like a very relevant question for you, and I know we're all thinking of it. Is like, what tips would you have for people to kind of like start, like they have just so much stuff that they're like, I need to eventually put this away, but I don't really know like what the first step is. Like, how do I even begin?
Yeah, absolutely. So I always start with stuff on the floor. Let's get the stuff off the floor. And then, usually big clutter collectors are trash, laundry, dishes, and mail. So those are
Mm.
big four categories. But getting, the laundry started, getting the dishes started always kind of takes the longest. And we'll kind of eliminate some of that clutter. And then clearing off your counters and surfaces next. that always kind of helps you kind of feel motivated and see progress. And then, yeah, once you get down to really the nitty gritty of it, start in one corner and work your way around until you get through it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like I'm talking to you at a perfect time because I actually did, like, I just got back from vacation and I was gone for like 2 weeks. So that's a big suitcase. And I did put everything away like the minute I got home. And I
Um,
feel very proud of it. Like, my
I'm
floor
proud of
is
you.
completely, thank you. My floor is completely like empty. Like, it's like easy to just leave your suitcase open and be like, oh, I'll just take stuff out as I need. But I washed everything and everything's put away. So my room is like, I feel good about this. Like I don't have like that guilt in the back of my head, like, wait, should I be talking to Chelsea right now?
You're so funny, but it really is, and that's the feeling that we're striving for, right? It's just feeling good about our space, making sure it's welcoming for guests to come over, and for you to come home after a long day of work is like you want to be able to feel relaxed and not that nagging feeling of like, oh, I got to unpack my suitcase, and then just get it done right at the very beginning, and like, all right, check done. Now I can actually do what I want to do.
Yeah. So I'd love to know, like, when do people kind of call you? Like, if someone's watching this and they're like, hey, I probably need some organization in my life, like, when is a good time to call you, and what are some of the things that you help people with?
So my main thing is decluttering. I feel like a lot of my clients call me when they're overwhelmed and they have, let's say, they have guests coming over next weekend, and all of a sudden they realize their guest room is not cleaned out and they have no idea where to start. That's when I usually get a call. I need you tomorrow. I have people coming on Friday. We need to clean up this guest room so that they have somewhere to sleep and somewhere to put their stuff. So that's my biggest thing, is decluttering and helping people just sort through all of the stuff that they have and make donation piles and stuff like that. I also offer packing and unpacking services from moves or renovations, and also personal assistant services for people who just can't get a hold of their dishes and laundry and general upkeep. So yeah, but my main thing is the decluttering projects, and some people just, want their closets to look nice. So it's not necessarily like I need to get rid of everything, but they're like, make it look nice for me. So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Because I think, especially for a lot of us business owners, right, is that we just get so busy,
Mhm.
and time is not always there. So it's not just less. It's not always like, oh, I just don't want to do it. It's not happening. But it's, you're exhausted at the end of the day. So sometimes it's just 1,000 times better to call up someone like Chelsea who can come in, do that, take that off your hands. Because we always forget that time is one of the most like precious currency in our world, and we should not take that lightly.
Absolutely. And I think people don't realize once they've lived in a clutter-filled environment for so long that their physical space isn't in affecting their mental space. So
Yes.
then when they finally have me over and I get a job done and they like have room to breathe, they're like, oh my gosh, wait, I was living with this for so long and I didn't even realize it. So it's always nice to get that, the results at the end and their reactions. And then they're like, wait, okay, now we can do my bedroom too, because that would be so nice if I could feel like that in there. So yeah, I just love it.
That's amazing. Well, what are some of the things that maybe you've learned through this process of having your own business, and especially with this type of business? Is there anything you've learned that you just kind of didn't realize you were going to learn, or any fun lessons you've taken away from it so far?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was so funny when I decided I was going to start my business. I was talking to my husband, I was like, I'm just going to be organizing for people all the time. And he's like, let's talk about this for a second, because as a small business owner, you're not just organizing. You also have to be marketing and
Mhm.
accounting and admin. I have to do all the paperwork. And I think as a small business owner, that was a quick realization for me, that I do get to do the things that I enjoy, and I do get to kind of go on my vacation whenever I want and not have to ask for PTO or whatever the case may be. But also I'm wearing all the hats. So it's a constant update on, websites and all of things. But, as far as my organization process goes and learning in that regard, I kind of thought that it would be like, I'm going to change these people's lives in one session. And turns out that these are habits that these people in general learn over time, right? You know, the messiness isn't just going to stop because I create systems, although I wish it did. Sometimes people are like, if it's organized, I'll keep it organized. But there are some clients that then turn into repeat clients, which actually works out for me, that I keep going back to the same house and organizing the same space over and over. So I think that was a realization for me too. It was like, oh, these people may need me regularly and not just a one and done kind of thing. So it's been
Yeah.
great.
That's so cool. And I'm glad your husband kind of told you about that, because it's better someone tells you up front than you figure out the hard way and you're like, wait, I don't understand. Why is no one just like, I opened my business and no one just immediately wants to come hire
Yep.
me. That can be a very stark realization. And it's not because like we're doing anything wrong, right? It's just like we don't know what we don't know. And
Yep.
that's why you always want to talk to someone who does know and can give you advice on that.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to know, since I'm not personally from Jacksonville, and I don't always go up to Jacksonville, but I go there a decent amount. What are some of the things that you would recommend for maybe newbies to Jacksonville, or just us, who are kind of nearby but not that close? Maybe things to do, events to go to, groups to join, anywhere people can kind of get active with the community and kind of put themselves out there.
Yeah, there's so many things here. I think my favorite thing to do in Jax is go to the beach. Always just a beach girly, but you know, there's always opportunities for workout classes if you're into that, like yoga classes, and music festivals and events. They have so many like farmers markets and different things that are free events even that you can just attend. And they have, you know, local vendors and small business owners that are showcased kind of all over the city at different times. There's a lot of people on social media too. If you like really want to dive in and see what else is going on, you can always explore those assets. I know there's different groups like the Jack Social group if you're into like finding new friends and, you know, going out to bars and, you know, hanging out with people in that regard too. There's that. And of course, networking if you're a business professional. Hands down, one of the best ways to grow your business and get the name out there.
Yeah, networking is a great way. I mean, mostly I mean a lot of the people that we consider like friends through networking events. So it's not just a place to just kind of get your business out there, but it also can double as a social for you as well.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's great to see and meet people in that same stage of life as you are, and going through probably the same exact challenges you are, and having that support to lean on. So I'm a big believer in networking groups. I'll definitely have to check out more in Jacksonville, because you guys just always have something going on, I feel.
Yeah, we certainly do. There's never a dull moment. Can
That's
always find
amazing.
something.
Definitely. Well, Chelsea, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it. Definitely a lot of new tips that I learned that I get to put in my life, because there's definitely some places I can still like organize just a little
Yeah.
bit better. So I appreciate your time and expertise today. This was a lot of fun.
Of course. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.
Of course. And to everyone watching, I really appreciate you as well. And I will see you next time. Bye.